The gun laws in France are very strict. It didn't seem to do much to thwart the terrorists in Paris. Nowadays, it's almost impossible to buy a gun without belonging to a shooting club for more than 6 months or without a hunting permit. Otherwise, the only people allowed to have guns in France are the military, the police, the customs officers, and some non-uniformed police on surveillance. In order to have your gun in France, you have to have a permit from the correct authority, and you must be officially registered. Your weapon has to be registered in your name, and you have to have a license from the Shooting Federation, which you have held for more than 6 months. You have to have the proper training, and have taken a whole bunch of different shooting exams spaced at exactly 2 months apart that are recorded on an official record book, which you must have with you, as well as an identity card if you take your gun to another place other than your residence. And now your application to own a gun has to be endorsed and approved by your local branch of the Shooting Federation. You have to have a special safe to keep your weapon in your home. You must undergo police checks as to your suitability to own a gun and have a clean record, and be known in your community as having high moral standards. You must have no record with any of the social services. If you carry a gun from one place to another, say like a shooting competition or a hunt, it has to be unloaded in an inoperative mode and bagged in the proper case. It must be locked up in a safe at all other times, and no person other than the licensed person must know the combination or be able to get into the safe. What happens when you die? Who can get in the safe? You have to call a locksmith? None of these laws stop criminals or terrorists. The right to own and bear arms is an important right. It's why we are free in America. We were able to overthrow a government that was tyrannical and establish a new one, which has lasted for several hundred years. We should be thankful for our right to bear arms. At Highland Hill Farm, we raise trees and shrubs, and we are thankful for our right to bear arms. In fact, so thankful that we offer a 10% discount to anyone that shops at Highland Hill Farm and who open carries. We also have a hunter access program because we want to encourage hunting and gun ownership. We don't sell guns and we don't sell ammo, but we do believe that the right to own and bear arms is a critical right in the arsenal of democracy.
I'm Bill, this is Mike. We're here at Highland Hill Farm, and today we're going to talk about our gun cabinet. Every farm has a gun cabinet, or else it's probably not a farm. But at any rate, we'll start off the story by telling you how we got our gun cabinet. We got our gun cabinet about 35 years ago when we first started to have this farm. We rented out little buildings to help pay for the farm. And one of our tenants was a cabinet maker. And he said he didn't have some money for rent, so he said he'd build me a gun cabinet. So that's how I got my gun cabinet. Now, at the time when I first got my gun cabinet, I didn't have any guns. But over the years, we've acquired quite a few guns. And this is not the only gun cabinet we now have. We have quite a few. So Mike, what is your favorite gun in the gun cabinet? And let's tell the people about it, okay?
Alright, you want to show it then?
We'll pull it out and show it to them.
Alright, my favorite gun that I have in this gun cabinet is actually this little tiny guy right here. This is, my dad, him, bought this gun for me when I was little. It's my first gun I ever had. It's called a 44 Winchester Magnum. And it's a lever action. It's a very nice, small gun. Even though it's a small gun, it's small bullets, it still fires very nicely. We took it out, and every time we shoot it, it's always a blast. We took it out to New Mexico, and while we were out in New Mexico, we found out that this was one of the most fun guns that we brought along for that trip. We had some real large guns and some real small guns, but this was the favorite. It's just a nice, compact, light gun. You can put a couple bullets in here without a problem and shoot for a while. It doesn't have much problems with like lugging it around, or it doesn't have a lot of kickback to it, so it's a loud noise, but not a lot of kickback to it. It is a nice gun for a little kid, but this was my favorite. If I had to pick out any gun here and only allowed to keep one of them, this is the one I would keep, because it's my first.
Well, now I'm going to tell you about my favorite gun in this gun cabinet, which is not my favorite gun because I have other gun cabinets. But at any rate, my favorite gun in this gun cabinet happens to be my most recent addition, which is, if we can find it, this one right here. This is a Model 870. It's a 12 gauge shotgun. And the reason I like this the most in there is I wanted to get a short barreled shotgun, which this is, but I didn't want to pay for this. And I did not have to pay for this. I got this in a trade. I traded trees and shrubs at Highland Hill Farm that we raised for this shotgun. Now, it only took me about 500 video postings on YouTube to find somebody that had this gun that would trade for some trees and shrubs. But it was possible. I did do it. And I got other guns in the trade at the same time. But this is, of all the guns that I have in this gun cabinet, this is my favorite gun, the Model 870.
This video is brought to you by Highland Hill Farm. We grow and sell screening and buffering trees for privacy and sound barriers.